Well, the conversation I'm having this morning with my artist of the week is not essentially about the person, even though really there is no way you're going to talk about whatever we're going to talk about without talking about him. So let's have this conversation this morning with Atunyota Hallelujah Koborowe. Oh, okay, you know him as Alibaba. They call you Alibaba. Thanks for being here again.
Thanks for having me.
How's it been?
Oh, okay. We were swimming with the tide of the economy as much as we can.
Between January 1, the January
first concert,
and today is
May 8th. June 8th.
It's June.
June 8th.
How far so far?
Well, most of the things that we do have been dictated by the exchange rates, fuel prices, and then unpredictable volatility of the economy. So those are the things that we've been battling with. So
it's not funny.
When I said unpredictable, it's that some things that have been happening are things that people have not prepared for. So you now found out that people are now dipping hands into savings, if there were any, and trying to manage their resources with those. And then between January and now, out of 10 people that have said they would not jackpot, you just hear somebody call you later and say, oh, you know, I've not been around. And you say, okay, when are you coming back? And you're like,
really?
I know about like 4 comedians who have traveled and many more in entertainment who have traveled. The sad thing is that some of these people who are traveling are some people who seemingly could have survived in the economy because of the talent that they had, the potentials and opportunities that had come to them. So when you find those kind of people jackpotting, you're now thinking, what do I have over these people that I'm still here? Right? Is it patriotism? Is it family ties? Is it hope and expectations?
Maybe investments.
But maybe investments. No, but many people are liquidating investments and traveling. And okay, so a friend of mine who traveled on, I think 2 days after Valentine, we had a Valentine's party and he was there, everything was okay. And then he called me in May to say, man, Ali, how Nigeria? I said, you are here too? And I said, no, that he left February 16th. I said, what happened? He said, oh, no, that he had weighed it over time, that if he was spending X amount of money in raising 3 of his kids, it would be good if somebody takes off the cost of education from him so that he can then express himself in the other ways and have a good life. And he also said that if you raise your children, and after you raise the children at the age of 21, 22, you still have to be taking care of them, then it's good to go to a society where if you raise them up to 18, 20, they can begin to take care of themselves or find work somehow. You know, besides, if you raise them in a certain community, country, by the time they've done 4, 5, 6 years, certainty is what you can say about citizenship. And so they then have dual citizenship and you've opened more opportunities for them to survive and succeed. So,
you know, we'll go on and on about that one. It's not what I want to talk about, but I just love to talk about opportunities. And it's something that you also have been able to help some people achieve. I asked you how far so far because I know that now another 7 odd months, the January 1st concert.
The January 1st concert will happen again.
And I also know that you have spontaneity and you also have these global tours from time to time. But what I would love, because every time I have someone like you, like, you know, the big guns in the industry, in the creative industry, I want to talk about industry issues with you. Because there are those several people who are starters, have no idea where to dip their leg, first step. And so they just saunter around, they just struggle, and then somehow they just find themselves somewhere and struggle out of it, on and on and on like that. So talking about the creative industry, I dare say that the creative industry is new in Nigeria as an industry, maybe in practice over centuries old. What's the potential of the creative industry in Nigeria for development of the nation?
Okay.
In one or two lights. I know, and you do as well, that you can't talk about India without talking about its music and its movies. You can't talk about the US without talking about its music and its movies. I know, and I dare say, that Nigeria, as in many African countries, have better music than these two, okay, well, maybe except India, than several other countries in the world. So, what's our challenge? What's the potential that we are sitting on?
Okay, so a few things need to be noted. One is that the potentials are there. Mining them and developing them is a problem. And then you also then have, over the years, a system where the government has also failed in helping to develop that. Or when institutions that are supposed to help develop those talents shape and groom those talents to achieve better potential, value propositions, fail to do so. And I'll bring to light the point I just made now with these few examples. Because the creative industry is the second largest employer of labor after agric. So where you have farmers and all that, the next largest employer of labor, of youths especially in Nigeria, is the creative industry. But you see, government over time have failed to realize that this large industry needs development, needs support, and even needs structure. But you see, government has looked at the areas where they get the large chunks of money, and helped those sectors to grow, and failed to help our sector to grow. At the time government built the National Theatre, it was called the National Arts Theatre because it represented all arts. You would have thought that going with that policy, there should be a national policy that also targets development of the arts, but they did not. So they built the National Arts Theatre, achieved the purpose it was built for, because it was not built to develop the arts, it was built to dam the West that excluded us from the Committee of International Nations, because we're a military government, and the military government felt, okay, for damning us, we'll build the National Theatre, we'll organize a Festival of Arts and Culture,
and we'll build the National Theatre with the design of a soldier's cap.
Though we borrowed it from the Bulgarian replica of the Bulgarian. But you see, the purpose of it was achieved when Festac was done, and after Festac was done, government did not think they had need for it again. Now, after building that kind of place, you would have just situated like 4 or 5 places around there and started a college of arts. And college of creative arts, so that people can... The National Theatre itself would have helped to blossom a lot of talents that would have helped by now.
There are quite a number of people who still trace their professional history to the national.
When I came to Lagos as a budding comedian between 1989 and 1990, National Theatre was where everybody went to tap from experiences of people who were before us. You met people like Tunji Shotimiri. You met people like the Oladipo Theatre people, Jide Kosoko, Oladipo Theatre, Baba Suwe, all of those people, Oga Bello, the Oga Yellow, what's that? Yellow?
Alabi Yellow.
Alabi Yellow. Yeah. All of them were coming like Tongoni and all those. So you gleaned from their experiences. So it was an informal education. Yeah. You get an informal education from those places. But you see, government did not push it. But government set up PTI for people who were interested in petroleum industry. They set up War College for people who were interested in, well, they set up... Then they set up TV College, which was important, to feed NTA. And also, but you see, gradually, government then neglected NTA. And I'll say neglected NTA because the things that other stations did to grow were not done in those stations that belong to a national committee. Then you then find that the creative industry was now running, as we're growing, was now running on an informal and unstructured educational drive. So it meant that if you wanted to be a tailor, there's no school to go and learn it. If you wanted to learn textile design, you could go to Yabatech. All right? But if you wanted to be a cinematographer, which school did you go to in this country? No. Abegi, you met Lemigarioku, all those, if you wanted to be a graphic artist or something. But you see, the people who were supposed to then look at this, or for instance, two years ago, a forecast of Nigeria, of the economy of Nigeria in the next 5 years was looked into by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group.
Wow.
Entertainment and creative industry was not considered. Not one page. In looking forward to Nigeria for the next 5 years, a booklet of about 200 pages was done.
Wow.
The creative industry was not considered.
Meanwhile, what would you put the value of the creative industry in Nigeria at right now?
Beyond. For instance, if you have single artists going to London at the O2 Arena, closing it down and earning close to £1 million, £2 million, and coming back to Nigeria with that kind of money, even if they took 50% of it and coming back. Burna Boy has done a lot more for national awareness, the Nigerian national awareness, than any ambassador that have been posted to America, posted to the UK, or posted to any other place. So these artists that are performing are bringing national awareness and making other countries even know about us than any ambassador would have done.
So I've asked you a question about how would you put the value? What
the value?
Monetary,
okay, so now the monetary values. Yeah.
Just a second. Now you have brought on another value that is probably not even considered
national development. Yeah.
Laundering Nigeria's image, because that's what the US used.
Yes.
The movie industry.
Yes, with movies.
That's what India is also using, the movie industry. Yeah. So that value is one. But if you would put Nigeria's creative industry, if you put a value to it, hypothetically.
Okay, so let me not be hypothetical. Let me be specific with when Fashola became governor of Lagos. We worked on a project where we calculated the amount of money spent in the creative and entertainment space every weekend, starting from Friday till Sunday. At the time we did that, it came to 16 billion.
Every weekend?
Every weekend. And the value chain, wait, so that you understand the value chain.
No, slow down first. 16 billion per weekend?
Per weekend. During Fashola's time.
Fashola left government 20...
It has escalated. Let me tell you, we worked on this thing. So let me tell you, when our eyes were open, which was one of the reasons that I was considered to be chairman of the creative industry, because they saw that I'd worked on that kind of thing before. So what did we do? We looked at drinks. We looked at MCs, ushers.
So there is some kind of hospitality.
Exactly.
Affiliation.
We looked at hotels. We looked at photography. We looked at dance. We looked at choreography. We looked at interior decorators who come to do your event. We looked at bands, makeup artistry. We looked at the movie industry that was just burgeoning and growing at that time. We looked at graphic artists who were designing all your invitation cards and all of that. We looked at the whole spectrum of entertainment and the value chain, and we put prices because we had to call some of all these people. If you know, between Monday and Thursday, the Shomolu printers are all busy, printing one thing or the other. Don't forget that at that time too, textile was part of the industry that we looked at. People were printing ashoke, Ashwebi.
Yes.
They'll print Ankara and put people's names on all the industry, plastics and all of those things will be printed. Don't forget that the industry also had people who were doing gift items. Sometimes you hear that a party held and gift packs were given to people, and you find out that mobile phones were inside that gift pack. It was all built into the cost and value of the sector at the time. Venue rentals was also going gaga. I had a venue at the time as well. And so we knew how much we'd do. And so we went around and checked from Ocean View to...
16 billion every weekend.
Every weekend.
So what would you put it at now?
I think neighborhood between 20 to 30.
Per weekend?
Every weekend. And now our weekends start from Thursday.
Okay, slow down. Multiply that by 52.
52 weeks.
20 billion.
Let me tell you.
I'm running out of time.
No, let me tell you what the part that a lot of money actually goes into is drinks. The amount of alcohol that is consumed in Lagos alone, if the VAT of it is calculated,
so this
no
is
state that banned VAT.
Don't go there.
Okay.
So this is just for Lagos.
For Lagos,
20 billion.
Yep.
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
Multiplied by
52.
52.
Yeah.
Now multiply that by, on the average. 36 states.
Yep.
That's...
But it's not like that in every
know,
state.
and that's why I said on the average.
Because that's what I'm going to. So some states, especially the ones that banned consumption of alcohol, will not get up to that. They probably do about like 2 billion.
But we all share the money. Anyway,
we all share the money. Okay, so we all share the money.
To the value, because I have only 3 minutes. To the value.
So what we then do?
That's just for the money. You've given me something for my news. Right. But the other value of orientation.
So the national orientation is important. Don't forget, New Masquerade back then used to tell us about currency change, used to tell us about character, used to tell us about environmental cleanliness, used to tell us about respect and queuing and respect for elders and having proper education. Zebudiah they'll bring an issue. Zebudiah would tackle it in his own way and tell you, maybe Jide Shokoya says that there's somebody who brought a contract. Jagede Shokoya, there's somebody who brought a contract. He wants to do it. The money is from civil service. We'll just increase it. And then at the end of the series, the episode, you find Zebudiah telling you that if you take bribe from somebody, you are killing the economy. Some of all those things are all disappeared. Now, the guy before, Praise, you interviewed before, Praise, talked about the eroded family values. We had a show that was the only thing that spoke to children and told them about culture, value, respect, honor, hard work, team spirit, family values, and in Tales by Moonlight. But you see, they jettisoned it and gave the time to a church on a television station that was national. After Tales by Moonlight was taken out, what other program taught children values on our television spectrum? None. But you see, those kind of things. So the national orientation too was also, they had a program called Sunny Side of Life, where Patrick Itoge was anchoring and taking people through different aspects and made us have serious patriotism and nationalistic values. It was taken out.
But music and movies are doing that now, which is what you talked about when you mentioned Burna Boy going out.
So you hear Burna Boy is going for a concert. Nobody goes there to say, Burna is a Port Harcourt boy. No. Burna is not Nigeria. Yoruba. No. Ashake is playing, you see Igbo boys singing and dancing to the song. And outside Nigeria, I
even saw one Beninois band
playing the song.
Loli at the top.
What's it called? Timaya's song. They don't kill it, them papa, them, was played by a Russian orchestra. So the thing is that we have these values that we have jettisoned. But what we're saying is, creative industry has beyond economic potentials. We have family potentials. We have international potentials, and we have a lot of things that we can do using the creative industry. But the government needs to do a lot more for the sector. And it's not about cash. Don't give cash. Like okay, there's a video of me where I said that to Jonathan, that the more you give money to people in the creative industry, the more you lose the essence of it, because not everybody will get the money. Instead, build the platforms that all the people in the creative industry will key into.
Okay. Well, you know, when are we going to have part 2? Don't answer that question yet. I'm going to ask my producer, because it's a very important one. I'm not even able to ask you what next from Alibaba, but hey.
January 1st is still coming. I was still doing spontaneity and giving out cards.
And we are still going to be here on December 27 or 28.
Oh, yes, yeah. So that's for this thing that we do, yeah.
DSS.
DSS.
You'll still be arrested.
I'll still be arrested again.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. Always.
Well, that's the show today. That's been Sunrise this beautiful Saturday. Thank you so much for the privilege of being a part of your weekend. Have a beautiful one. I'm Ayo Makinde. Bye for now.